All right, let's talk about something that pretty much every single one of us struggles with, actually changing our own habits. Today, we're going to unpack a scientific blueprint that shows us how to make those changes finally stick. You know the drill, right? It's January 1st, you're fired up, you're going to hit the gym, eat better, stop scrolling so much, and then, a few weeks later, poof, all that motivation is gone and you're right back where you started. It happens to everyone. But here's the thing. It's not a personal failure. It's a design problem. So what if, instead of just gritting your teeth and relying on willpower, you had an actual proven plan, a roadmap that treats changing your life less like a guessing game and more like a science with clear, predictable steps? Well, guess what? There is one. Let's get into it. It's called the multi-theory model, or MTM for short, and it's a pretty recent development from 2015. Think of it as the next generation of behavior change science, specifically built to handle the entire life of a habit. Not just getting it started, but maybe more importantly, keeping it from falling apart down the road. Now, this is the absolute game changer right here. The MTM says that the skills and a mindset you need to start something new are completely different from the ones you need to keep it going. Think about it. The challenge of going for one run is totally different than the challenge of still being a runner 6 months from now. So the model splits the whole journey right down the middle. So let's look at phase 1, initiation. Just getting off the launch pad. The model says you need 3 things. First, you gotta have a real honest talk with yourself about the pros and cons. They call it participatory dialogue. Second, you need what's called behavioral confidence. You have to genuinely believe you can actually do it. And third, you have to change your physical space. That means the running shoes are by the door, the healthy food is at the front of the fridge, and the junk food is out of the house. But getting started, as we all know, is only half the battle. So how do you keep going? This is the sustenance phase, and the rule book totally changes. First is emotional transformation, learning to connect good feelings to this new habit. Second is practice for change, which basically means tracking what you're doing and tweaking your plan as you go. And finally, and this one's huge, you need to change your social environment. You gotta build a team, a support system that has your back. Okay, I can hear you thinking it right now. Sure, this all sounds really nice and neat on a slide, but does this academic stuff actually work in the messy reality of everyday life? And you know what? That is the most important question. And to answer that, we're diving into a major 2024 review. The researchers did what's called a systematic review, which is like the ultimate study of studies. They didn't just run one new experiment. They rounded up all the best research ever done on the MCM to see if it really holds up. And believe me, the process was intense. They cast this incredibly wide net, searching all the major scientific databases for anything and everything ever published on this model. Their first haul was just massive, almost 7,700 different articles. That was the starting mountain of data. Then, the real work began. They had to sift through that mountain, tossing out duplicates, screening every title, every abstract, looking for the real gems. After getting rid of all the noise, that huge number dropped all the way down to just 82 studies that were worth a closer look. And they weren't done yet. They read every single one of those 82 reports, page by page, to make sure they were legit, high-quality research. When the dust settled, they were left with 69 rock-solid studies. This is the firm ground the evidence is built on. And these weren't all the same type of study either. We're talking about everything from deep-dive interviews with people to huge surveys of thousands to actual hands-on experiments. And no matter if the topic was quitting smoking or eating better or getting vaccinated, the data all pointed in the same exact direction. The researchers who did the review put it perfectly. They found that consistently, in study after study, at least one of those 6 key ingredients we just talked about, whether it was your confidence or your social circle, was a major predictor of whether someone would succeed. It proved the blueprint actually works out in the wild. So just how powerful is this blueprint? Well, check this out. On average, the 3 initiation factors could explain or predict over 38% of why people started a new health habit. And get this, the 3 sustenance factors could explain nearly 39% of why they kept it going. Now, I know 40% doesn't sound like 100, but in the science of human behavior, that is a huge piece of the puzzle. That's incredible predictive power. So let's make that power real. In one of the experiments they looked at, a program was designed using this very MTM blueprint to help women get more active. Before the program, the women were exercising, on average, just 37 minutes a week. But after, an incredible 172 minutes a week. That's not a small improvement. That is a life-changing transformation, proving this model is a recipe for real results. Okay, so we've seen the science, we've seen the proof. The big question now is, how can you take this theory and turn it into your own personal toolkit to actually achieve the goals you care about? It really all boils down to a 6-point checklist. First, to get started. Number 1, clarify your why. Really weigh those pros and cons. Number 2, build your confidence with small, easy wins. And number 3, and this is so important, set up your environment to help you, not hurt you. Then, to keep going, you got to find ways to enjoy the process. You have to track your progress and adjust your plan. And finally, you need to build your team. Find those people who will cheer you on. We're always told that change is all about finding some superhuman level of willpower. But what this science shows us is that maybe it's not about being stronger, it's about being smarter. It's about having the right blueprint. It's about knowing that starting something and keeping it going are two completely different games, each with its own rulebook. So now you have the blueprint. The only question left is, what are you going to build with it?